Where I grew up, there was only one way to be, and it was some all-American straight male stereotype. And in fact, any other way of being was bad, so bad that we didn't talk about it. And so, like a lot of other people, gay and straight, I let parts of myself go invisible.
I grew up in a small, close-knit town. Once, a young man who had left town wrote into our newspaper talking about growing up gay in our town. Many people were saddened by his story, but many more were angry that they even had to think about such a thing. I knew I'd have to leave too.
When my partner and I decided that we wanted to adopt a baby, we were really afraid that we wouldn't get chosen because we were a same-sex couple and there were all these straight couples out there that wanted to start a family too. But after only a few months, a young woman called us and she wanted us to be the parents of her soon-to-be-born child.
As a teenager, I was very active in my Catholic parish. I loved my faith, I loved our church, but I had a secret and I knew I couldn't talk about it. I had convinced myself that to avoid a life of loneliness, I would have to live a life of service as a priest. I wouldn't have to talk about my secret because no one would ask about it.
The day I got kicked out of church was the best thing that ever happened to me. Suddenly, I wasn't invisible anymore, but I was still good with God. I could be a son, a friend, a lover, a Christian, with my whole self.
We were handed this beautiful newborn baby girl. It was a gift, and it was given to us because of who we are. That is God's grace. And you too have been given gifts, and you'll be given many gifts from here on out because of who you are.
My partner and I have lived together now for 23 years, and together we have come to know and believe that together we are loved by God. Our church taught us well.
Your true family, your true community, and true church is the one that loves you as endlessly and completely as God does. And you will find them. It's going to get better. We're here making sure it does get better, and I'm looking forward to having you a part of our world so that you can help make it better for those who come next.
I believe that love is stronger than hate, and that God is bigger than any of us can imagine. In the book of Genesis, God creates diversity and calls it good, and sexuality is an important piece of that diversity.
I found a church that loves me for all of who I am, all of who God made. It does get better.
You are a human being of divine worth, and it will get better.
Where I'm from, you can't be gay and Christian. They're just not compatible with one another. My family sent me to reparative therapy, which told me I could supposedly become straight and finally be accepted by God and His church. However, I soon realized that this wasn't possible, and I just learned to hate myself. That was all that reparative therapy could do for me. When I entered college, I thought I could play the straight game for the 4 years that I was there. And I realized after 2 years in that being miserable at the expense of pretending to be straight wasn't such a great idea.
I grew up in a place where we just didn't talk about it, so beyond hush whispers, I really didn't know anything, which is probably why it took me a long time to figure out that I was bi. It was inappropriate to talk about other people's unpleasant business, and so we didn't.
I thought that being gay meant that I'd have to be celibate. At least, that's what the church taught. I loved my church so much, but I felt called to more than just a celibate life. I wasn't sure what I was going to do.
My pastor was clever. When I told him that I was gay and would stop going to therapy, he told me that the church was a place that welcomed sinners who were willing to repent of their sin. He made it my choice to leave. Clever, but cowardly. I spent a year as an inner-city youth missionary, and I picked up a bit of good theology. God can use what you are, not what you aren't. God can use all of what you are to bless someone else who needs acceptance just as much as you do. And that's how I knew that God wasn't finished with me yet.
I came to a pastor at the Lutheran campus ministry and spilled my guts to him about who I was as being a gay Christian man, and I found acceptance for the first time. This completely changed my life, and I keep it with me to this day. I soon came to realize that this story of who I am will travel with me and will be with me, just as the first time I came out to someone would.
Even when you've lost things and you've been hurt, you can build your own life. You can build your own family, you can have a partner and a community, and there are lots of us out here who are waiting to build all of that with you.
Today I'm here at Yale Divinity School, learning to live into the promise that I know the church always preaches, but doesn't always practice. Love your neighbor as yourself. However, I'm learning that you can't love your neighbor until you first love yourself, and this surely is a blessing.
I realized I didn't have to leave the church. I just found another place at the table. Now I'm in a place that honors my call to ministry and has blessed my marriage. There's a place for you at this table too, and it gets better.
I'm now pursuing a call to ordained ministry as a hospital chaplain. Every day of my life, it is getting better.
So come and be with us. Come and work with us to make sure that other people don't have to go through what you're going through. But come be with us and come worship God with us and know that you are loved for your whole self.
Now that I let myself out, I found a whole new kind of community, a whole new kind of church, and a whole new kind of family, and a really hot boyfriend, and it gets so much better.
I did not have to leave. We are not leaving because it simply gets better.
It definitely gets better.
You're not alone. It will get better.